Welcome back to Bronco's Parts Garage. My name's Chris. Today I've got my son Connor working with me today. Say hi, Connor.
What's going on, guys?
All right, usually he's behind the camera. Sometimes he does some wrenching, but today I'm gonna have him do some of the dirty work. So let's get into this. This would be part 4 of the Godzilla swap. On the previous couple videos, I know I did a lot of time lapsing, and a couple people said, hey man, explain more. You know, removing wiring harnesses and pulling the engine out, it's hard stuff, but it's not, I didn't want to say, hey, use this wrench or that wrench. Basically, you just unbolt stuff until you can take it out. As you can see, I left one of the fuel lines up, caused a little bit of a problem and a fire in the last video. Today, what we're gonna do, and the reason why my son's here is because we're going to be degreasing the cross member and part of the frame in the front, and I don't wanna do that. He's gonna get dirty and demolished today. But what we are gonna do is what we said in the last video. We are going to remove the hydraulic control unit because this truck is no longer gonna have air brakes? Did I say air brakes? Anti-lock brakes. One of my other helpers, who's no longer here, didn't put the sensors in the wheel. I mean, I just found out that he didn't even tighten up the shock bolts. So interesting stuff as we go through this truck that I'm finding. Don't hire people off Facebook Marketplace, especially morons that live in their parents' basement, okay? I know it's gonna offend a lot of the millennials. That said, I think that's kind of funny. We're gonna take off the pump. It's 3 13mm bolts. I don't know if we're gonna take off this mounting plate yet, but for sure the pump's coming off. So we gotta cut a few brake lines. They're gonna be redone anyway. We've already bent these up. Connor is going to wrap up some of these exposed hoses that we have here in the openings with some green shipping plastic and some zip ties, so we don't get water inside the cab of the truck. Over here, we're going to leave this heater box in place because I don't want the water to blow inside the truck, but we will be removing this on camera. Again, I'll tell you how we're doing it. We'll probably speed it up so you're not bored to death, and then we'll get into watching and explaining how we did it and any problems or caveats. So we're not going to leave you in the lurch on this one. But I guess this is held in with a few bolts. I've never taken one out, and a lot of that butyl. So it's going to be a really, I guess you got to pry it off the firewall. But we want to get all that ready for paint. So with that, I think we're all set. We're going to cover up, take that off, and then he's going to clean this. And we're going to show you kind of how we're cleaning it. We'll probably time lapse that because if you can't figure out how to clean grease, you probably shouldn't own a vehicle. So let's get some tools and get started. Okay, I'm going to cut these brake lines right now. I'm going to use this hacksaw. Everyone knows I'm a big Red tool fan. I'll put links for all the tools we use in the video description too. It'll come in handy when you go to do this, or if you do this. It sucks I gotta cut through these brake lines because I think these were new. We shouldn't get too much fluid running out of them. We'll sweep it up and dispose of it properly later. But we'll get this off. And again, as I said, I do sell these. I will list it. I think I already said that. So with that, let's cut these lines. These stainless lines are a little bit harder to cut. All right, we've got that done. Let's back the camera up and we'll unbolt this HCU. All right, to remove your HCU, you're gonna need a 13mm. It doesn't need to be deep. We just do it to clearance, whatever these are on this piece of equipment. On the back, we'll use a swivel, but yeah, you need a 13. I'm using my big red. And we'll be discarding these bolts because I'm not going to be reusing them. Let me get the swivel on the back and we'll knock that one out too. And this is why we speed these up, guys, because I know this is kind of boring. I'm just keeping my thumb on this ratchet. It's a Harbor Freight ratchet, so it always gives us a little guff when we're trying to ratchet it back. They don't have the same smoothness as, let's say, a Snap-on or a Craftsman. But this should get the pump out of here. And we've already unplugged everything, so we're gonna set this aside. Okay, we're back. That came out really smooth, 13mm. We're gonna be plugging all the holes in this truck. I already zip tied some shrink wrap around the computer plug here. We're gonna repeat that process here. We're gonna stuff some rags inside here, and we're gonna use this computer, I guess the mounting gasket or whatever. We're gonna stuff some stuff in there, cover it with plastic, pop this back on to protect right here. Now, the rest of these lines, I don't want water getting in here. Obviously, water and oil don't mix too well. So I'm gonna take a Ziploc baggie Guess I could probably do it while we're on camera. I hate wasting these bags. These are the ones we use to mark the parts. You could always stuff a bolt or something in there too. I'm going the Ziploc baggie route. The pressure washer, again, is only 2,000 PSI. And I'm sure Connor will keep clear of these as best he can. But we're gonna tighten these up. I don't want any crazy debris going inside here. You never know. We're in Michigan, it's cold, crappy out. Let's see here, zip tie these nice and tight. We got any more? You see anything else, Con? We got a line over here. This is probably, yeah, it needs to be protected too. I hope I don't run out of trash bags, but we get these at the dollar store, so not a bad deal. But it better be safe than sorry. And again, this is that boring stuff that I wish we had, or you're gonna wish that we had time lapse. The fuel lines I don't care about. We're bumping those up to 3/8 inch. These are gonna be way too small to feed that motor. Let's see, we got this one, let's cover this up. And again, you can always put nuts and bolts in. This is just easier, and then I don't have to hunt for the correct size. And it's very apparent where we are actually covering stuff up, where we need to protect it. I do need another zip tie on one. Yeah, here you get that. Let's cover this this vent line for the gas tank. We do need a return line to the tank. I don't know if I'll need this vent line. We'll probably just vent it at the tank and not run it up, because we are not going to be putting the emission stuff on, because thank God I live in Michigan and not in California. Okay, so I'm not worried about these. We're leaving this on for right now. This can get wet. That's about it. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna back it outside. It's about 40 degrees. My son's gonna have a wonderful time degreasing and power washing this. We will do that in time lapse, but you'll get to see him clean this thing up. So let's go. Okay. I'm gonna turn the wheel a little bit like this. I'm gonna turn it a little bit like that. There. Just leave it alone. I'll steer you. See how it's starting to come back your way. All right, so the power washer didn't work. We'll leave that out, all my cussing, so I don't get demonetized by YouTube. That said, I had two other power washers in here. If you guys have watched some of the other videos, we always say a guy called Meth Head Fred. He must have came in here. I know that he wanted to make it work better. And everything he's touched so far as power washers, I've ended up throwing in the garbage. Right now, I've got the graveyard of power washers. My electric one won't turn on for some reason. The Ryobi one was like brand new when I brought it into the shop. Again, Fred said, I'll make it. It was idling weird, so he said, I'll fix it. And I just got gasoline all over my foot, but now it won't start. So I'm gonna actually go buy another power washer. So let's go to Home Depot. Okay, it's kind of rainy in Michigan. Well, it's not rainy, but foggy and crappy out. So we'll shoot over to the Home Depot and come back, and we'll get that thing in, take a video of that. Hopefully it doesn't start raining or snowing while we're doing this. You can turn off for a second once we get driving. All right, I'm gonna head over to Home Depot and get a new power washer so we can degrease and clean that. I'll probably buy some degreaser too. If you ever have Meth Head Fred show up at your shop, and don't let him touch any of your small gas-powered appliances or tools. But we'll get over there, we'll buy a new one, and you know, can't have enough power washers. Now's a good time to remind you guys to like, subscribe, share this content, hit that notification bell. I don't even know if that thing still works, but if you do, then when we release new videos, you'll be alerted, I think, by email or text or something, I don't know. But then you won't miss any part of this series. You know, when we're doing these kind of builds, this kind of stuff pops up. This is a mild nuance. I don't mind getting a new power washer, but let's keep meth head Fred from screwing your stuff up. We'll get back there. It's already like almost 4 o'clock here, so we really squandered a lot of time today. It's what is it? It's February 3rd. I'm hoping that Home Depot actually has their power washers on display. I'd rather shop local than go on Amazon, so let's take a look inside and see what they got. Oh yes, we're in luck, boys. Got some power washer action. Huh. And why don't you kill it now until I decide? All right, I picked up a new power washer. It's a little bit stronger, 3,600 PSI, 2.5 gallons a minute. I'm not gonna let Meth Head Fred touch this one. I got some degreaser and I got a big kink-free industrial hose. It took a while, but we met some nice people and they were talking to him. So let's get this back to shop. He's gonna power wash it, and then we'll get the video loaded up. Let's get back to the shop. All right, we're back. I'm gonna spray some degreaser down, then I'm gonna hand this off to my son. We had to go to Home Depot to get a new power washer. We got a really massive, DeWalt one? Too bad Milwaukee doesn't make one. So here, let's get all this covered. We'll let this soak in for a few seconds. We tried it out a second ago, and it started taking the paint off the cross member. So maybe I might have got too high of a PSI one, but we'll see. So let's get this done. Not going to concentrate on the steering box because I said we're swapping that out anyway. But all the rest of this stuff, I'm going to put some degreaser up here. We're going to go real easy on this firewall, and we're not going to go beyond this center tunnel because this power washer, I think, will just start destroying stuff. This is just really, really greasy and grimy. You know, it's 30-year-old truck. We still got to take these engine mounts off, so that's in play as well. We'll probably do that next time. Took us all day to get this situated. We're using the Zepp citrus smelling stuff. I think any good degreaser would work. Even that awesome stuff from the dollar store. We go through a lot of this degreaser. And I'm gonna just let this sit here. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, guys, so we got all the junk removed off the frame or whatever this thing is. I'm not too good at these kind of things, but you know, cleaned up most of it, or what I could at least. Most of it was just like kind of down here in the frame rails and stuff like that, but most of it came up. I mean, we got a little bit of rusty spots and black stuff that won't come up, but I mean, you know, can't get everything, so yeah.
All right, we're back. Kind of a tumultuous day. Again, power washer issues. There was no one actually at Home Depot to help us out, so we got stuck there for about a half hour, just waiting for someone to come and undo the security tags. I should have just cut it. They would have probably ran over there. We took the power washer here. I think all this paint was already compromised because it was rubbing off with my thumb prior to the power washer, but the power washer kind of just finished it off. You can see there's surface rust underneath there. So somehow it rusted underneath all the oil and grease that was on there. So if you're doing this at home, yours may look like this. We're gonna get in there a little bit more nitty gritty. I'm gonna put some chemical rust stop in the frame rails. Then I may drag a paint can. They have a spout that shoots at 360 degrees. You kind of just drag it through the frame to coat the inside. I'm not sure what I'm gonna use. Some guys say use fluid film. I'd rather get something that's gonna adhere to the rust and neutralize it so it doesn't spread or rot the frame out, because we're, it's a considerable investment putting this Godzilla motor in this 5th generation Bronco. Probably $20,000 for all the parts, but it should be worth it. Again, the more I look at it, the more I want to put some long travel in. So solo, threat, some of the big guys, if you see this video, look me up. My email information is in the video description. So anyway, Connor did a good job power washing this. A lot of it came really clean. Everything else we're gonna do by hand, but we will be getting these off tomorrow. The old engine mount bosses, or whatever you want to call them, that are belted, and it looks like they're riveted to the frame in one spot. Then tomorrow we're going to take off the heater unit. For right now, I think that's it. Guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and please give me some comments. If you've done this before, I need help with this, okay? This is my first time. I think we're making good time. We've only done this, 3 days, and we've gotten this far. I'm going to quit babbling on. We'll see you next time.